I'm Daniel Schuster, and coming up on Mountaineer Playbook, I'm going to tell you how important this spring football game is to our children's hospital. Stick around, Mountaineer Playbook is straight ahead.
Mark Kellogg brings something to Morgantown that Mountaineer fans have been waiting for. I'm Adam C., and I'll tell you what that is next. Mountaineer Playbook starts now.
The WVU football team is finishing off their spring practice schedule, and the team hopes that a familiar face can provide a boost. I'm Daniel Schuster.
And I'm Ethan Kraus. The Mountaineers continue to make noise on the baseball diamond, and many key contributors are to thank for their success.
These stories and more coming up on Mountaineer Playbook, a sports magazine show produced by sports and adventure media students right here at West Virginia University.
Spring means a clean slate for football programs across the country. The Mountaineers have been practicing on the field these past few weeks for spring practices, which concludes with the Gold-Blue game this weekend.
That's right, Ethan, and although the scrimmage is just a chance to preview the team before the fall start, it's also one way the student athletes are giving back to the state. The Mountaineer football team is getting ready to showcase their skills in the annual Gold-Blue game on April 22nd at 1 p.m. The Gold-Blue spring game is the conclusion of the 15 spring practices here held at the university. It's the final evaluation for student athletes ahead of fall camp.
West Virginia's pretty redundant to say at this point, but he's in the white uniform, so he'll take the snap. He'll try a long ball down the far sideline. That pass is going to be caught.
Last year, Blue, led by offensive coordinator Chad Scott, grabbed the win over Gold. Something special about our annual spring game is that all the ticket proceeds go to WVU Children's Hospital. Since 1984, the Mountaineers have collected over $790,000 for WVU Children's Medicine.
By having donations that come from the Gold-Blue game, that allows us to have above and beyond, which makes nobody wants to be in the hospital, especially kids and parents with kids, but it allows the experience to be a lot more easy, if you will.
Although the Mountaineers won't be able to do their normal wave because of a different entrance in the spring game, doesn't mean that the Mountaineers won't be thinking about them.
I know, just they feel more like a part of this just as much as us. So, us not being able to wave, kind of tough because we like doing the march. So, I feel like we have a big impact on them, just like they have on us.
So get your tickets if you haven't already. You can support the WVU Children's Medicine and the Mountaineers as Garrett Green and Nico Marchiol face off on Saturday. You can still purchase tickets to this year's Gold-Blue game using the link below. Don't forget that the money is going to support something special.
And did you know, Daniel, that a member of Huggins' basketball team could get some playing time in the scrimmage on Saturday?
You know, I did hear some rumors, Ethan. Senior center Jimmy Bell has reportedly been practicing at tight end and offensive line with the football squad for the past 2 weeks. Head coach Neil Brown says he doesn't have expectations, but Bell will have to make a decision about what team he'll play for next fall.
The big man could have a more favorable situation if he chooses football over basketball. NCAA rules would grant Bell 2 years of eligibility with the football team as opposed to 1 year he has left on Huggins' roster.
As the football team prepares for the upcoming season, the baseball team's offseason preparations have been evident on the field. After clinching a series win over the 18th-ranked Oklahoma State Cowboys this past weekend, it's clear that things are starting to click. While star infielder J.J. Weatherholt and starting pitcher Blaine Traxel have continued their stellar seasons, their teammates have been stepping up in pivotal moments. The starting pitcher duo of Traxel and Ben Hampton was boosted by freshman pitcher Robbie Porco, who showed his big play ability in a win over number 13 Maryland and a 12-out strikeout performance against Kansas. That earned him a Big 12 Co-Pitcher of the Week honors. At the plate, J.J. Weatherholt, Landon Wallace, and Caleb McNeely have used their power to win pivotal games throughout the year. The Mountaineers continue their season against stiff Big 12 competition, where they have yet to face teams such as Texas, Texas Tech, and TCU, all of whom are ranked in the top 25, just ahead of the Mountaineers in the conference standings.
The WVU tennis squad has made big strides this spring, posting double-digit victories for the first time since 2019. The team is on track for their first winning record in a full season since 2010. Coach Lisak, who is in the 9th year at the helm of the program, says he's optimistic heading into postseason play.
We're starting to believe more and more in that whoever we step out on the court against, that if we do the right things and when we play discipline, we play our game, we attack the game the way that we want to attack the game, we put ourselves in a very good situation, right? And going into the conference tournament, that's not going to change.
The Big 12 Conference is loaded with high-end teams, including reigning champion Texas and runner-up Oklahoma. But Coach Lisak says his team is up for the challenge at the Big 12 Championship in Kansas later this month. WVU women's basketball fans can finally breathe as Mark Kellogg was recently introduced to Mountaineer Nation as the next head coach.
Kellogg broke down his plans for the future of women's basketball in Morgantown at a press conference in the Coliseum. That's where our reporter Adam C. joins us. Adam?
Thanks, Daniel. Ethan, WVU named Mark Kellogg the new women's head coach on April 5th after Coach Dawn Plitzowite announced she'd be leaving for Minnesota. Kellogg spent his last 8 seasons with Stephen F. Austin in Texas. He currently ranks number 6 in terms of wins among currently active women's basketball coaches. And athletic director Ren Baker is hoping he'll bring that success with him right here to Morgantown.
I want to begin by thanking all of you for coming out today for the announcement of our next head women's basketball coach, Mark Kellogg.
Mark Kellogg was introduced to Mountaineer fans at the Coliseum, where he provided his vision for the program.
There's such a history here on both sides of the basketball programs, right? And to me, that's unique. It's special. It is the flagship university of the state, and I have not been a part of that.
It's deja vu for Mark Kellogg. This is the second time athletic director Ren Baker has hired him for a head coaching job. Kellogg coached under Baker's leadership at Northwest Missouri State in 2012. Kellogg's role with the Mountaineers gives him his highest profile coaching job yet. Baker says the quality of the position helped bring out the best available candidates.
The interest in this position was more intense than any of those previous searches. What we heard from candidates is they love the passion of our fans, the resources that they have to compete here, and the quality and depth of the Big 12 were very attractive.
Kellogg spent 8 years at Stephen F. Austin and leaves with a 27-7 record this season, where he took the team to the second round of the WNIT.
Kellogg says part of what attracted him to West Virginia is its history of success, which stretches back to more than 50 years. Kellogg is only the 7th person to lead the team.
Kellogg says his women's team is going to take its cues from Bob Huggins' playing style.
From a style of play, people have asked that too. We will play fast, all right? And I know Press Virginia has been a thing around here on the men's side, but Press Virginia is probably coming back a little bit on the women's side, or will be here a little bit on the women's side as well.
Kellogg comes to WVU with 445 career wins, 195 of those with the Lady Jacks. Kellogg says he's focused on keeping the team's current players in order to build a winning program. Daniel, Ethan, back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Adam. Coach Kellogg has already started building his support staff, hiring Aaron Grant from Arizona and Jessica Grayson from the University of Missouri, Kansas City.
Coach Kellogg has also hit the transfer portal to deepen his bench. Guard Zaya Nugent and point guard Jordan Harrison will follow Kellogg to Morgantown. And Ethan, this is Ren Baker's first coaching hire as a leader at WVU Athletics, a true test for him in his new post.
It will be interesting to see how it all ends up. Coming up on Mountaineer Playbook, I'll dive into a topic that continues to have the sports world scrambling now 2 years in: name, image, and likeness deals.
Coming up on Mountaineer Playbook, I'm Tara Malone, and I'll tell you about how the college transfer portal could affect your favorite team. Don't go anywhere, because Mountaineer Playbook is straight ahead.
I got in.
Thanks for sticking around and welcome back to Mountaineer Playbook. I'm Daniel Schuster.
And I'm Ethan Kraus. The WVU men's basketball team has established tremendous success on and off the court during the offseason.
That's right, Ethan. Huggy Bear and company have continued to dominate the recruiting trial during his time in Morgantown. For more on that, here's Tara Malone.
After a successful season, the West Virginia men's basketball program returned to the NCAA tournament after a hard-fought regular season. The Mountaineers played rival Maryland in the opening round of the NCAA tournament and would fall short by just 2 points. Bob Huggins and his staff has been on the hunt to rebuild their roster next season, and it couldn't have come at a better time for the program.
The NCAA transfer portal has played a major role for many universities nationwide, including right here at West Virginia University, as the Mountaineers are the #1 ranked team in the college basketball transfer portal rankings.
Longtime veteran sports journalist Jay Gilmore explains the process for teams taking advantage of the transfer portal.
It can help WVU. They want to get a star from Marshall who wants a bigger platform, or if they want to get a star from an SEC school, not a star, but a kid from an SEC school who might not be reaching his potential there, but he thinks if he goes to Morgantown, he can expand that situation. But it could also have an adverse effect if there's a player who's doing great, that player decides to leave at the end of the school year. So I don't think about it in terms of institutional success. I think about it in terms of student athlete successes and failures.
Recent success off the court was prompted by the addition of Kurt Kriza, a 4-star guard from Arizona. Also included on the roster is Omar Silverio and Jose Perez, both transfers from Manhattan. Statewide sports reporter Joe Mercado explains the importance of established relationships between new players and new members of the coaching staff.
It's interesting because usually if you're recruiting a high school player, it's a process that takes years. You're dealing with their high school coaches, maybe their AAU coaches as well. You're kind of doing a version of speed dating when you're talking about players that get in the portal, because you find out that they're in the portal. Maybe you know prior to their actual entrance to the portal that they may be headed that way, but you can't contact them until they get in the portal directly. It really is a condensed process.
The program looks to continue moving forward in the right direction as the Mountaineers pursue more shining stars in the transfer portal. Reporting in Morgantown, I'm Terry Malone for Mountaineer Playbook.
In July 2021, the NCAA changed rules around payment for student athletes. From commercial endorsements to paid appearances and social media posts, athletes in every sport can now make money off of the use of their name, image, and likeness, while still competing at the collegiate level. I spoke with one current and 2 former WVU athletes about how this change has impacted their careers.
Name, image, and likeness deals are changing the college athletics landscape, and WVU wrestler Killian Cardinal is among the many college athletes that have an NIL deal with collectives such as Country Roads Trust.
Obviously, money is always nice, especially when you're a college athlete. I mean, we don't really have time to go out and get jobs or do internships a lot of the time. Like we're expected to be here during the summer and train.
Cardinal works with Country Roads Trust, an organization that is created to work specifically with WVU athletes. WVU athletes so far have been asked to represent a variety of companies, from contractors who pave roads to fast food chains like McDonald's. WVU's class of 2023 has been ranked #1 in estimated NIL earnings in the Big 12. An NIL deal can range from $1,000 to $10,000, and Jada Lawrence says they're certainly impacting student athletes' lives.
Some people still, even with the full scholarship, couldn't afford college, even unfortunately. So I feel like it's been, especially for minority groups, I think it's been so, NIL has just been so beautiful.
Average projected earnings for a WVU student athlete are around $22,000 over their 4 years in college. And former WVU gymnast turned assistant head coach Zakira Muhammad hopes to continue this trend by educating and helping student athletes as they sign their deals.
With the NIL though, there needs to just be a little bit more educational piece on, managing your money, the financial aspect of it, the taxes that they do have to pay on the deals that they get.
Coach Muhammad believes that educating athletes on their NIL deals will help them in the long run. But it's safe to say NIL deals have the ability to affect student athletes' lives, both as a student and beyond. While federal-level legislation to govern NIL deals is still in flux in Washington, states like Michigan, Arizona, and Florida have passed legislation that helps with the temporary control of NIL deals.
Coming up after the break on Mountaineer Playbook, we'll take a look at one club at WVU that might be stronger than the rest.
Reporter Kaylee McCabe takes us to the weight room to meet the athletes from across campus who are hitting their stride with the weightlifting club.
After the break on Mountaineer Playbook, I'm Lauren O'Brien, and I'll take you to a club sport that has been making waves across the NCAA.
West Virginia University is a place where learning is an adventure, inside and outside. You'll become an innovator, a boundary breaker, an earth shaker. Choose your circle from 30,000 fellow Mountaineers, and choose your path from hundreds of majors and minors. In a community that feels small, and you'll use this to get to class. You'll have room to find your people, your passions, and your purpose, because we're a place where everyone fits. This is WVU. This is home.
Thanks for sticking with us. I'm Ethan Krause.
And I'm Daniel Schuster. Along with all the club action on the field, there's also a group getting stronger in the weight room.
That's right, Daniel. The club weightlifting team provides an exciting opportunity for WVU students to test their limits. Kaylee McCabe joins us from Studio B at the Reed College Media Innovation Center with more on the club. Kaylee?
Thanks, Ethan. Daniel, many students who lift weights might prefer to go to the rec center to work out on their own, but there are some who are far more committed to the weight room and want to take it a step further. That's where the club weightlifting team comes in. The WVU weightlifting team was established in 2015 with sports scientist and certified national level lift coach Dr. Guy Hornsby at the helm. Coach Hornsby explains his desire to build a competitive environment where athletes can take their progression seriously.
I wanted it to be a serious weightlifting club as best I could make it that way, and make it more competitive oriented and not like a thing that CrossFitters do when they get bored. We're in the gym probably about 8 hours a week. This is for the serious ones and you know, the ones that like go about it like it's a competitive sport.
Former West Virginia rower Maddie Lindung says that the weightlifting team has been a perfect fit in her transition from a D1 sport, allowing her to continue pushing herself competitively in a new way within the supportive environment.
I kind of was like, okay, this might be a really good transition for me because I have that team aspect. I can work a little bit more on myself and my own strength and my own needs and my own body, which was really important for me.
Over the last several years, the team has had over 100 participants in U.S. sanctioned meets, including a bronze medal winner in the University Games. With long-term progression in mind, the team emphasizes the importance of the process and taking the time to build.
The rate of gain varies from some, one athlete to the next, and I don't think that just rate of gain and just, in X amount of time, how much better someone has gotten is the way to judge everything, because that type of thinking, I think, can sometimes stunt the long-term development and where they can end up.
The weightlifting team hopes to continue to develop this team culture of consistent progression and support with the dedicated and knowledgeable staff and members as they look to grow the sport in the coming years. The weightlifting club is housed at the CrossFit Ridgeline Gym here in Morgantown, and Coach Hornsby says that any student at the university is welcome to join. Ethan, Daniel, back to you at the Waterfront Studio.
Thanks, Kaylee. Ethan, the weightlifting club is just one example of both male and female athletes to compete side by side.
And for the first time, Daniel, the club field hockey team has joined that list this year. Reporter Lauren O'Brien introduces us to the team that's having an undefeated season.
The WVU field hockey team had to take a step back in 2020 once the COVID pandemic took over for a whole year, impacting their membership from over 20 players to less than 15, and affecting their playing time until their first tournament back in fall of 2021. During that time, however, the team realized what they needed to do in order to get that team chemistry back.
It was hard. No one
was in shape how we wanted to be, and then you come back and you're all like, oh, it's been so long since we've done this. So it was weird, but I think we've really like grown through it together as a team, and I think we're better for it, honestly.
The difficult yet hard work that went into the team's organization had helped the once all-female team that is now officially co-ed defeat national teams, ranking them to be 6 out of 32 teams at Virginia Beach in 2022. The team's big wins are due to the girls like Abby Bonhag's lifetime passion towards the sport.
This team means so much to me, field hockey as a whole, just because it kind of like brings, it's my focus. I mean, without it here at school, I feel like I'd have like nothing to do, so.
The field hockey team put their focus towards organizing their first home tournament since 2020 and even left undefeated, which isn't the first time this team has left their mark on the field. The women's field hockey team has started off their spring season strong with 7 wins and 2 tied games, growing their strength from last fall. The team isn't going anywhere and expects to have an even stronger 2023 fall season by their continuous growing team numbers being up by 7%. Reporting for Mountaineer Playbook, I'm Lauren O'Brien.
Well, Daniel, this is our final edition of Mountaineer Playbook this semester, and we want to thank our crew, all the reporters you've seen on the air today, and the folks behind the scenes that make this show possible.
And of course, we also want to thank you at home for watching Mountaineer Playbook. Mountaineer Playbook will be back next fall with a new crew and new anchors and reporters to bring you the latest on WVU sports.
Well, that's all for this week's edition of Mountaineer Playbook. I'm Ethan Krause.
And I'm Daniel Schuster. You can visit us on our website, watch our shows on YouTube, or catch us statewide on West Virginia Public Broadcasting. Thank you for watching Mountaineer Playbook.